Hey guys, Pop here. Today I wanted to talk to you about things that I've been enjoying lately that aren't necessarily book related. Some of them will be, but the majority of them won't. I'll go through the book related stuff first, and the first two on my list I'm going to lump together just because they are kind of related. Both of which things that I had fallen out of love with for a while, and only recently have I gotten back into them, and that is reading and making videos. For a couple of years now, I've been really struggling with reading at least a couple minutes a day, and maybe once in a while I would do it for longer, and there were many days when I just didn't read or feel like reading at all. And honestly, making videos became a thing that I did once, maybe every few months. I don't think there was any particular book that I read that made me remember my love for reading. But in the past 2 or 3 months, my mood has shifted up and I have wanted to read again. And the same goes for making videos. Instead of having months in between videos, I've had days or weeks, which is honestly a really nice feeling. The next two items on my list are book series. The first one being Inuyasha by Rumiko Takahashi. And I decided to do my very first vlog with this one. I'm not too sure how it went, but I enjoyed it and I may do it again. I think at this point I've decided not to do the next book in the Inuyasha series, but I do have ideas for what I'll try next. And because I do have that vlog, I'm not going to talk about this book too much here, but basically I just wanted to say that this was very nostalgic for me and I love the series. I loved it when I was 12 or 13 and I love it now when I'm 26. The second book I have is also a series, a pretty long series, and that is the Warrior series. This is the first book that I'm holding up of the original series because there are way too many books and I don't have them all to hold them up anyways. For a while now, I have been rereading the Warrior series in the hopes of catching up to where they are out now. And as of, I think about 2 or 3 books ago, I think 2 books ago, I have caught up to books that I have now never read. Each series follows a different set of cats belonging to ThunderClan, from what I can tell so far. There are other clans, other cats, and sometimes these cats live in harmony and sometimes their peace is threatened by something within the clans and sometimes outside of the clans. The majority of the books are fairly small, thankfully. This one I think is only a couple hundred pages, and most of those that are set in the main series are within 2 to 300 pages. The next two items on my list are podcasts, one of which I will start with is book related, and that is the Book Riot podcast. I only really started listening to podcasts recently. This is my second podcast, and it's kind of funny that I'm starting with this one because the other podcast that I will be talking about is the one that I started with. But I wanted to talk about this one first just because it is book related, and this is the last item on my list that is book related. Book Riot is a book blog that I follow occasionally on Facebook when they post stuff. And one night when I was looking for things bookish to listen to, I just stumbled across the podcast, didn't even know that they had one, and I just started to listen. They have over 400 episodes, and I decided it would be a smart idea if I went to the beginning. I am going to be listening for a while. I am only in the 20s, and I'm going to be here a while. Starting at the beginning really isn't necessary, as they talk about bookish things that have been going on in the book world since the last time that they posted a podcast. And from what I can tell, they do one every week. I don't know how much that has changed since, again, I did start at the beginning and I haven't actually watched or listened to any recent ones, but at some point I will get there. It's just gonna be a while. Now, everything else on my list is of non-bookish things, starting with my next podcast, which is what I started with in podcasts, and that is the Disc Only podcast. They are a group of 4 friends who each do gaming type content on YouTube, who I watch fairly frequently. The first is Steven, who runs a daily vlog channel, a daily gaming channel, as well as a Twitch channel, and honestly probably makes more content than anyone I've ever known. The second is Tom Fox, who runs a Twitch channel and a gaming channel on YouTube. The third is Proton John, who is primarily on Twitch, but he does do a collab gaming channel with a couple other friends on YouTube. And the fourth is the 8-bit drummer, Jared, who is a drummer. He does gaming music on YouTube as well as on Twitch. Disc Only, from what I remember, basically kind of started out as a joke on Steven's Extra Life one year, which then went to the Runaway Guys Coliseum, both of which, if you don't know, are charity events. Unlike most other podcasts that you'll listen to, Disc Only does not have a plan for what they will talk about. It is basically just 4 friends having a chat. They will talk about anything, including, but not limited to, allergies, stabbings, John's moving woes, thermodynamics, and crimes. And it really feels just like you're listening in on someone else's conversation. And they could probably honestly go on for hours if they didn't have a time limit to stick to. The next point on my list is Animal Crossing New Horizons. It's said a lot, but really this came out quite literally at the best time. It came out towards the end of March this year, and it is really the best kind of game that you can just sit and relax with after a stress-filled day. On nights when I just can't sleep and I have too much on my mind, sometimes I'll go into the front room and just play Animal Crossing for 10-15 minutes, sometimes more, until I feel like I can get to sleep. Just listening to the music, especially the nighttime music, it's just so relaxing. And even when I'm doing nothing other than catching bugs or fish or sea critters, I could sit and do it for hours just listening to the music. The next thing on my list is walking. I have done more walking this year than I have done in a while, really. And it really helps with my mental health as well as just my physical health in general. I'm not in shape in any stretch of the imagination, and I am not about to start jogging. But at the very least, I can get back into the flow of going for walks nearly every day. The next item on my list is date nights. Even though we can't go out to a nice restaurant at the moment, my fiance Jay and I still enjoy just doing things for each other around the house, just lying on the couch, watching a movie or watching Netflix or just being together. We can still consider it a date night even when, again, we can't go out. And it goes back to the walking as well. We do that together. The last item on my list is Delio, which is basically a mood tracker. When you're happy versus when you're sad, what you were doing those days that may be a factor in why your mood changed and stuff like that. I've been using this for a few months now, probably about 6-ish months. And I love it. I love being able to see what my moods were during the day, and I can see what days I was upset for no reason at all or for when I did have a reason. And even when most of my life doesn't feel all that organized, at least my moods can be fairly organized. And those are all the things that I've really been enjoying lately. There will be links in the description for things that I mentioned. Let me know in the comments what you've been enjoying, whether they've been book related or not, and I will see you next time. Bye!